Good evening, everybody. Adab, Sasyakal, Bonjour, and a great day to start, which has started for all, and we are coming to a fag end of the day. So today we are doing a session which many of you would have been anticipated, seen on social media, and have been curious about it. Let me unveil the session for you. Great, I am Ashish Banka, National President of HR Sampark and HR enthusiast. Today we have come with a very, very unique concept to specifically for our HR fraternity members. And this concept was generated by our own Harini, and we have given it a shape and taking it forward. I will take a couple of minutes for all of you to just look back in terms of our journey, where we have started and where we are. Most of us who have reached at a pinnacle of our career really owe back to this community, and we cannot deny, everybody of who have helped us to reach here. While I look back at 12 years of illustrious career, I cannot come and say that it has happened overnight. Though it has been a dedication uh, which has been taken in terms of our organizations, our bosses, our mentors, our coaches, and our effort. But this industry and fraternity, in some or other way, have helped us, be it in terms of social media, be it in terms of some information gathering, be it in terms of some cohesive discussions related to any topic. While all of us have want to, be a showcase, reach at a particular level, it is our interim duty to go back and generate next generation of thought leadership. Thought leadership comes, when we are a lot of people who have become senior HR leaders, and when they go back, we see all them swammed in terms of entire social media, and we really follow them, and I am one of them. But it's very important that what happens after a few years when they, step off, and where is the next leader? Have we taken that effort to go back and create that kind of next generation who will lead the baton forward? With this concept, and it is in terms of giving back to the HR fraternity, the concept and this session of making a difference has been created. Making a difference is nothing. It's a part of our own community where the bridging happens between HR stalwart and a young HR leader. How do we get? So we are blessed with a lot of fortunate and great HR stalwarts to come forward and lend their support for this. And we have a lot of aspiring enthusiasts and a lot of talented young HR leaders who have not been identified. With this, we bridge this gap together. And how we choose them? A simple nomination. And based on the eligibility of individual choice of a HR stalwart, we get somebody identified. With this series, we are not propagating any knowledge, any identity, but we are giving this to all the people who are there in that genre of that particular young HR leader to lead it from front. With this session, while we other people going forward and HR stalwarts coming and joining this series, this will be a game changer in the HR fraternity, and this young HR leader will take it forward from here so that they become our torch bearers for future. Today I have Ms. Harini, who is known to all, but for the audience who have been joining HR Sampark first time and this YouTube channel, I would like to give a very brief introduction. Harini is a business transformation evangelist, a neuroscience enthusiast, a behavioral scientist, adapt in human locking potential in organizations, illustrious career of 24 years in human resource, organization mentoring, coaching. She has been an influencer, and that is something which has been very important. And everybody knows her. Is a renowned celebrity speaker. She was earlier CHRO with Worldly India and associated with Amazon Power Network Power. She has been transforming a lot of lives and is a mentor for Sampark Group. I thank her for generating this concept. And while we take this journey forward, this session will not focus upon Harini for a change. We are going to focus upon the main spotlight session, and that is none other than Ms. Bhaswati Roy Chowdhury. Bhaswati comes from West Bengal. She did her post graduation from University of Bardhaman. She has been into teaching profession. She did her B.Ed. She is a HR professional. Started her journey in 2007 with Education Institution, Durgapur Institute of Science and Technology College. She has a lot of enthusiasm in terms of training and development, helping people, and also giving guidance on career aspirations. She had worked with Pinnacle, Next Generation Consultants, Jayashree Auto Trade in functions of HR and L&D. Today, while we unveil this session and know Bhaswati more, I am sure that Bhaswati will be our next generation thought leadership as a young HR leader who will take this baton forward and inspire many more who are there at her in terms of a peer group and the coming generations. Not taking much of a time, I'll hand over the baton to Harini to introduce Bhaswati in a better way. And while we take this a short session to know Bhaswati more and invite her to this journey of HR, which has inspired the life of organizations and lot of people. Over to you, Harini.
Thank you so much, Ashish. And it's really a pleasure and privilege for me to be hosting the first episode in the series of Sampark's Making a Difference. Making a difference was where I started my purpose when I actually became active on social media and got connected with all of you. And today, Sampark is taking making a difference to another level, and it's my privilege to be here for that very reason. So before we get on to a conversation with Bhashti, I was looking at her LinkedIn profile. In fact, this lady has been following me for a while, uh, and I wasn't very keen on trying to understand what she's all about. And that's when I thought many of us take followers as followers. So why don't we take this as an opportunity to go and find out what is it that we can learn from our followers? What is it that our followers can teach us and lead us also? So that's where this whole idea of flipping the whole conversation came up. And so here we are. So Bhashwati, to me, Bhashwati is somebody whom I see as full of enthusiasm. If anybody visits her LinkedIn profile, you will notice that she has written everything about that she has been doing on the LinkedIn profile, and that reflects her enthusiasm. And even when she is talking to me, she was talking to me a little while ago, trying to understand how this conversation is going to be. All that I could see was enthusiasm. So to me, Bhashwati is an epitome of enthusiasm. So, Bhashwati, before we get on to this conversation, how do you feel like? What do you feel like sitting on the hot seat? Are you feeling like you're sitting in front of Amitabh Bachchan?
Uh, First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Ashish Banka and Harini ma'am for giving me this platform. Harini ma'am, I'm humbled to share this platform along with you. Next is that, as you asked me, like, how would I like to see this, uh, means I like to see this platform as like uh, as a great learning experience for myself as for others as well.
Absolutely. Now, I definitely feel like Amitabh Bachchan right now when you're becoming so emotional and you're speaking with all your feelings and your heart. So I definitely feel like Amitabh Bachchan, and thank you for making me feel
I
like that.
Whether Amitabh Bachchan or not, but I definitely look up to you with great respect.
Thank you so
I
much.
am that Harini, I am that one person who Amitabh Bachchan looks back and asks for industry advice, and that the person who is
AB,
there, no, always, uh,
AB,
how does
AB.
it? No, if she's stuck somewhere, you will reach out and you can take a lifeline. Yeah, so that's how.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, Bhaswati, that's a great idea. You have a lifeline here, right here on the call. Okay, so so spotlight is on you. Let's be conscious of that. Okay, so now just walk us through your life journey, not necessarily your professional journey, but what I want everyone here, all our audience and viewers, to understand is who is that person behind the name Bhaswati? So walk us through your life journey very quickly. Tell us those crucial decision-making points in life. Was it a smooth sailing journey? Did you have to make some choices? Were you in a dilemma? When in a dilemma, what is your thought process? How do you navigate your way through dilemmas? So tell us about the person behind the name Bhaswati.
Okay, to begin with, as Ashish said that I had been into the teaching profession. I come from a middle class family where my parents had instilled in me the importance of being self sufficient. Most importantly, means self. Being independent in terms of my professional as well as my personal life. So most of my parents had always wanted me to be in a profession, means serving profession, like in the teaching. uh, but the thing is that I by profession I became an HR quite accidentally, uh, where
That's
I had
interesting. Sometimes some accidents are good, right? So I
yeah.
hope this has been a good accident for you. So tell us about how the accident happened.
Yeah, means I after a few years in teaching, I was not quite enjoying my job. So while in Durgapur, I was looking for the job. My first employer means my as I said, like uh, my first employer from Durgapur Institute of Science and Technology College, he placed that confidence in me. He placed that trust in me and gave me this opportunity for in his organization, and there where I was given the responsibility to serve as an administrative coordinator. The role
Hmm.
where which was a mixed kind of profile, um, with managing the students administration, means 400 students at a time, plus staff, means employee administration. Apart from that, I was there in employee relations, engagement practices, as well as grievance redressal, etc., etc., employee motivation. But there was the thing is that, like, I felt a strong connect with people. I every means ever since that has been inherent in me. A strong connect with people. I
Hmm.
when means I had been quite I means well along with people. I get along with people from all walks of life. That is one thing I think that has helped me a lot. And behind means apart from that, like, I am quite indebted to my first employer, who gave me this opportunity even though I had been a fresher in the industry. So my means as a professional, means my journey as a HR professional started with that. And whatever problems I had encountered, he had always been with me, guided me, mentored me, grilled me like anything, but stood by me in my profession in during my tenure in his organization. And that built a strong platform for me. Whatever little I have been able to acquire till date, the base started from there itself.
That's interesting because what I see you talking about is one is a little bit of a bold experimentation on yourself when you have to actually make a career choice accidentally.
Yes.
Yeah, I can relate with that because at sometime in the past I've also done that. But that's an amazing. So that's a big takeaway, Bhaswati, and for our viewers, I think that is something that one needs to make a note that you sometimes opportunities they don't even knock at the door. They're just there and you
Yes.
don't even realize they're there, but it's up to you to grab it. And I think you've done that very well. So that's one big takeaway. The second thing that really stood out is the faith, the mutual faith that you and your first employer had with each other. Obviously, there was a lot of trust between the two of you, and
Yeah.
you lived up to the trust. So
Mhm.
when you are part of an experiment, and especially these corporate experiments, you become a choice. You're selected, and you're put through an experiment. A lot of trust is bestowed upon you when that happens, right? And I think you lived up to that trust very well, and that's probably was a big a positive on your side, which is taking you where you are right now, living up to someone's trust. Someone put a lot of faith
Yeah.
on you and gave you that platform, and living up to that trust is a big value. And the third thing, which is very obvious, and I don't know, I don't like stereotyping. I don't want to sound racist, but I think uh, Bengalis are very sweet people. So probably when you said that you connect with people a lot, you being from the eastern part of India, it comes to you naturally, connecting with people, and that's an amazing skill which is required for HR. So living up to people's expectations, trust, letting yourself into experiments and connecting with people is probably what makes you a great HR professional. And thanks for letting us know that. And this is an amazing takeaway for me, because as I reflect on my past, I've been pretty much a maverick, very much a maverick, and I keep doing things as it comes. But if I have to collect back my pieces in the jigsaw puzzle of my life, I think the storyline, the thread that you put fits in beautifully. So if I have to reflect on myself, probably that was what made me what I am, and I owe this to you for reflecting back on my life as well. So this is an amazing, interesting thing. So trying to know more about you, Bhaswati, more about you as a person.
Yeah. Uh,
I want to dwell a little on your people connection aspect. I know there's lots you want to tell us. There's lots you want to take away, but I want to dwell a little on your people connection aspect. What exactly do you mean when you say that you can connect well with people? Conversational ability, maybe, but I'm not sure, because I'm not a great conversationalist. Ashish may not agree today, but I am not a great conversationalist. It took me a lot of effort. Ashish, I can see that question mark and the exclamation mark going on behind that smile on your face. But yeah, the fact is, I am not a good conversationalist. It has taken me effort. But I always felt connected with people, even though I wasn't a great conversationalist. So, what do you think when you say that you're connected with people? What's your take on what do you mean by being connected with people?
being connected with people means uh, feeling giving a feeling to them that at least they are heard.
Mm,
That is
yes.
very much important, which I feel like being a human resource professional, even more than the technical skills which we possess, it's very much important that people should be made comfortable. People should be made to feel that at least it's not that every time we can solve their problems, solve their issues, but
Mm,
at least we can hear from them. We can
mm.
lend a patient ear to their problems.
Absolutely. Bang on. I think,
Hang on. Yeah.
yeah, somebody was telling me that, communication is all about speaking. And then I was thinking that communication is a lot about listening. And I think you picked up precisely what we wanted to hear, Bhaswati. It is all about listening. And that's where people start feeling connected with you. Yes. And again, you made me realize something about my own reflection, that if I remember that I used to be a very, very popular student in class among friends. Although I was not very talkative. I hardly used to communicate. But then I realized that probably that's what made people feel close to me, because I would listen. I would listen a lot and maybe not solve their problems, but be a sounding board for others. And that's an exceptionally great skill HR leaders need to have. And yeah, it's amazing to know that aspect of you, and your understanding of what it means to connect with people. Um,
Thank you.
and I've been following you off late on LinkedIn, very, very recently, Vajrati, and it was very interesting for me to see uh, a whole lot of certifications that you've been doing, and they were not just certifications. It's not just collecting certificates during the lockdown. Certainly not that, because I read through every single certificate of yours, and I saw a pattern. You've picked up courses which are actually helping you develop this people centricity that you spoke about so beautifully. So you picked up design thinking, you've
Mhm.
picked up something around employee engagement, or things around that, and coaching, mentoring, and stuff like that. All of these to me showed they are actually attributing to your people centricity trait that you said so beautifully. My question is, how did you make these choices of these courses? Was it a random picking up of courses, or did you put some conscious thinking into Why, which course, at what time? How did you do
Uh,
that?
Honestly speaking, ma'am, this has been quite a conscious. Means I have chosen this courses quite consciously.
Hmm.
I have always believed like in people connect as well as in people development. At
Hmm.
the same time, I believe that the most important investment one can do is for us for one's self development. So
Hmm.
the thing is that one self development means certifications isn't just for certifications, shouldn't be just for certification itself. It has to be there has to be a purpose, and the purpose should be that I should be enriching myself. At the same time, in future in my work, I should be able to implement the knowledge which I am able to acquire from those certifications. So,
Hmm.
in all my 12 years experience, I have been into all gamuts of HR and L&D. But
Hmm.
in the coming years, I want to focus more into people development, learning and development. The thing is that taking these into consideration, I have chosen these certifications like design thinking, which is very much in. Though I'm just into basics of the design thinking process, this certification has from Tata. Steel capability development. I have done it has given quite an insightful experience throughout the journey into the certification. These are like self-paced e-learning courses, but I would highly recommend these courses. At the same time, there are other courses like on mentoring, team learning, etc., etc., which I believe would help me definitely in my workplace to implement my knowledge. Apart from that, currently now I am doing another certification. Means I'm on the verge of my ending of another certification to be a certified instructional designer as well as
Wow.
an e-learning developer. So,
Super.
uh,
Superb.
and
And
also,
this is again, I would say these are all very wisely thought of, because
yeah,
whether you pick up instructional design as a subject, or you pick up
yes,
design thinking, it's always putting your user at the center of things, right? So
yes,
so a lot of our training programs are not so effective because instructional design as a concept has not been applied. We think that it's a straitjacket one; it can fit anybody and any audience. So, but instructional design definitely gives you a lot of in-depth knowledge into how do you design an
design,
instruction.
yeah,
So, uh, yeah, putting people and at the center of things is something that's been your reason for doing these courses. And hats
yeah,
off to you. Another thing that really struck me here, I'm actually, picking out those beautiful insights from your life journey as you speak, and I'm just trying to bring them together. And hopefully, at the end of it, we'll have a wonderful garland of insights, which all of us can really look back and appreciate. Another wonderful insight that I got from you is you are very focused on what is it that you want to be. It's almost like you have written a personal mission statement and a vision statement for yourself. Your vision statement is what you see yourself few years down the line. I think that's in your mind, and your mission statement is what's the purpose of you as a professional. I see that coming out very clearly in your thought process. Being a behavioral scientist, I try to probe into why you're thinking something and why you're speaking something. So it shows me a very clear picture that there is a very strong thought process behind it, and these are not ad hoc choices. So having a personal mission, vision, and value statement is another big takeaway. I think all of us need to do that, and it makes a big difference, as we can see in how you made your choices. Because in the lockdown period, a lot of people did a lot of certifications. Certifications were available
yeah,
all over the place, extremely affordable, a lot of self-learning modules. So people have gone ahead and spent their time in learning things and certifying themselves. But what I see that you have done probably differently is, because you have your vision in place where you see yourself 1 year down the line, 5 years down the line. You may not be even articulating it, but I can see that you have a vision for yourself. And because you have a vision for yourself, rather than spending your time, I think you have made an investment of your time. Because when you spend time, time only gets spent and consumed. But when you make an investment of time, definitely there is a return on that investment at the end of that journey. So in my mind, I think that is an amazing thought process, Bhaswati, and that's going to take you a long way. Uh, so continuing on this journey of enriching yourself to enrich others, enabling yourself to enable others. That's what I see a learning and development talent management professional as. So what are your thoughts around talent management as a concept in organizations? You've worked with a few companies. You have must be
Yeah.
having friends in your network. Uh, to my mind, training and development could be a very glamorous function, in the sense you could make it very interesting. You could give everybody a wow moment at the end of the session and all of that. But many a times, I have seen organizations are keeping training as a function, but really not learning and development.
Exactly.
Training is maybe for a short term need, and learning and development could be for a longer. So what has
Long
been
term.
your experience? What has been your experience, and why you're focusing so much on learning and development? I understand you have a teaching background, but apart from that, any particular reasons why learning and development?
Yeah, a training which occurs in the classroom or via through VILT or through any other, uh, it gives a short term, like as it is said. But
Hmm,
learning,
hmm,
it's a
hmm,
continuous, ongoing journey, ongoing process,
hmm,
which happens not only
hmm,
within the classroom or not only happens for a short time, but it happens on the job. There are other modes also, like what should be said, like being there are other examples like job shadowing, job rotation. There are other these are also learning experiences. So
absolutely, absolutely.
and that not
Yeah.
only
So
that,
so
but
talk.
people should be given that opportunity.
Hmm, hmm. Yeah,
Not only the
actually,
Another
well
classroom
said.
question,
opportunity.
Hari, just a second. Bhaswati, a
Hmm,
quick question. I just got some people who are viewing this. They have come back
Yeah.
and asked a question. Because we are not having any questions from audience, but somebody asked a very interesting question. You, as a next generation thought leader, and specifically riding on L&D as a boat, if
Uh-huh.
you have to take couple of initiatives to transform the fraternity, or maybe in terms of whatever terminology, job shadowing or enriching, job, all this, what would be the topmost priorities? So what the question is, it illustrates that what are the top priorities of Bhaswati from an because we are trying to identify a next generation thought leader. So what are your priorities for the community? I hope I've been able to put the
Priority.
question, right. Because, yeah,
uh, As Ashish, if I have got your question right, then as I was telling just now, that learning is a continuous process, and it's an ongoing process, long-term process. So in that way, there is a model we all know in HR, like 70-20-10.
yes.
I
Yeah,
believe in that.
let's hear about it. Let's hear about it for the benefit of the audience, because we could have anybody and everybody doing this. So since you brought it up, tell us a little more.
So, so I believe in that, ma'am. So 10%
Hmm,
is will be classroom focused, or webinars and etc etc. Most of the areas will be, which will be focused, or the most 70% will be based
hmm,
on
hmm,
the job practice or on the job learning.
hmm, hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. So experiential learning is what you're talking about. That
Experiential
it could
learning.
be, yeah,
Yes.
on the job as well as experiential. Yeah, but that's
Experiential.
that's
Yeah.
probably that's probably going to be the need of the hour,
Yeah.
because when things are changing so much, when there is so much of dynamism all around, uh,
Yeah.
I think that's what probably is going to change. It's going to be a game changer where organizations focus a lot on giving people experiential learning or learning through
Yeah.
experience, putting them on the job.
Yeah.
There are interesting concepts like shadow boarding and all those things
Yeah.
will really come into play. So,
Yeah.
so as you look at your future, your journey into the future, uh, how do you want to really? What are your thoughts? How do you think you can apply these processes, these concepts? There's no right or wrong answer. You can just give whatever you feel like. How do you think you will approach an organization, build a learning strategy? What are your first thoughts around it?
Ma'am, though in one word or means in one
Ashish,
sentence or
you may
two.
have to mute yourself for some time, if that's possible. Yeah, thank you. Yes, Vash. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe in one or two sentences it's a bit difficult to
Hmm.
illustrate, or but still, as I said, ma'am, experiential learning or situational learning
Hmm.
is more important than I believe. As
Hmm.
far as I understand or I believe, maybe I am
Hmm.
means people will differ from me, but I
So
believe
people
that
will differ
this is
because everybody is sailing in a different
ha,
boat, but
yeah,
ultimately we're all sailing in the same sea. The boats
yeah,
may be different, but we're all sailing in the same sea, the sea of human
yeah,
beings and sea of
sea
individuals,
of
right?
human,
So we
yeah,
might each one's boat might be rocking at a different level, in a
true,
different kind of a wave. We must be riding different waves. But I think
yeah,
conceptually, you're driving home a point that experiential learning and learning through experience is something which is really
learn,
important. So,
yeah.
very clearly tell us what you think about experiential learning. That's why I said you don't have to worry about right or wrong answer, because the differences will be because we are in different boats. But we just want to hear your thoughts.
Uh, Ma'am, it said that what means regarding experienced people, it said that whatever we learn, 20% comes from what we have learned from our schools or
Mm,
colleges, and
mm,
rest 80% is through our experience.
mm.
So
Yeah. So I mean, it's very well said. In fact, I think that kind of ties back into when you said that HR happened to you accidentally.
huh,
HR happened to me pretty much accidentally. But I think your whole idea of bringing your experience into the workplace is probably what has helped. If we start, I'm just rephrasing what you said for the benefit of our viewers. If we start boxing ourselves into what our curriculum taught us, then probably we will not have the confidence to do those experiments on ourselves, on
yeah,
our career choices. I think it's about translating any and every experience that you gain from your curriculum, from your school and college days, and trying and applying it in whatever you do in your career. For example, I've been a researcher in the pharma space years ago, decades ago. But then when I moved into HR, I brought with me the research ability, the analytical ability, and all of that. And that has probably, defined my personality even within the HR fraternity. Although I am not carrying out research on chemicals like in the past, but I'm still carrying out research. So what I brought with me was that experience which I picked up as a student, and that's added great value. So in your life, can you talk of course you have been in the teaching profession for a while. That's what I heard Ashish
yeah,
say. So that
yeah.
experience, how has it impacted your HR career? Have you been able to draw any connections, and have you picked up from those experiences and put that learning into practice?
Uh, to be honest, ma'am, when I have been into teaching, it was not into adult learning,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
I enjoyed means after I came to means and during my 12 years experience, I have been into adult learning, which I enjoyed much more, because there had been challenges, there had been opportunities which helped me to grow as a person
Hmm.
as well as a professional.
Hmm. Okay, so this is interesting. You brought in the concept of adult learning, and that also intrigues me a lot. Do you really see a big difference in teaching children and in teaching adults in terms of the behaviors that you experience?
Yeah,
Do you
there is a
yeah?
there is a difference. There is a difference.
Okay. And what is that difference and how do you deal with it?
The main difference means in teaching in schools is like classroom managing. That is a
Mm.
that is managing classrooms is really a tough job.
Mm.
Even means but yes, the thing is that when we are into adult learning, means when we are
Yeah.
into training or learning and development, there also it's not always like we find people always receptive to our learning process. But yes, since it's like there are people whom we need to uh, like give
Yeah, isn't that
like
interesting?
proper.
Children make a lot of noise and they refuse to learn. Adults
Yeah,
don't make noise outside, but there's a lot of noise in their minds probably that's
inside.
going on and they
Yeah,
refuse to learn. So
yeah.
what do you so when you're in a classroom in the corporate world, what do you do to get them to focus their attention in what you're in whatever you're training or you're teaching or you're facilitating? What are
What
your tricks? How do you get
uh,
them to focus?
go means my training activities or my learning activities, I focus into some uh, games or storytelling, or that's
Mm,
how I make them. But again, another thing I would like to tell, it's not that
mm,
it's all their fault, because they have their work, they have their pending projects, and
mm, mm,
they are in a hurry that they have to finish their work as well,
mm,
which
mm.
also is there in their mind. So all together it happens.
I see a lot of empathy in your mind, and I wish that I were also a little more empathetic than I was because I would go with an approach saying, "Come on, I am investing my time in designing and facilitating this program for you, and how the hell do you leave your brain outside and come into the class?" And I would probably get a little aggressive on it, but I think this empathy is something which is again that's very interesting, and you carrying that empathy with you throughout this conversation also. So probably that's your tip and trick for me to take it back to a class when I find people are not focusing. I'll probably learn to be a little more empathetic, try to put myself in their shoes and see why they are not focusing and try and get them on board. So it was an interesting take.
A question,
Ashish.
Harini, yeah, a question. Specifically, I am very curious to ask. I absolutely second Harini that I also become a bit restless. And how can somebody leave their brain, his or her brain, and come back? But Bhaswati, interesting question for building up the next generation leadership, specifically when we groom people to become the leaders for future. Our students, we are grooming them to become better students. It's a big difference. How do
Yeah.
you feel as a experienced professional, when how do you build careers? So because most of us who are there, generally when we started, we all used to as I started in the beginning, that we are here because we are aspirational. We all three of us here because we aspire to do something, and that is why we are here. There are many people who are aspirational but do not get the right path. So there are variety of people with the
True.
variety of time zones. How do you build up careers? Like if you have to advise somebody in terms of building up a career, what would you go back and do it? Because this is, I find, HR's most important contribution to an individual. How do you take that forward? Because like I come from the same country in terms of and land from where you are in West Bengal. We say that if you develop a human being, the entire family and the entire society gets that. How
Yeah.
do you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Yeah, in that case, like I would not like to give any gyan, Ashish, but the thing is that what I have observed, it's not for all, but means those who come from the corporates, sorry, from the campus and join from any means from any department. What I have observed through during my tenure, what I have observed is that people have a tendency like, oh, I will means I am this, so I will do only this part of my job, not more than that. Please come out of this thing. Please go beyond your KPIs. Please go beyond that. Take initiatives, take means as much responsibility as you can. Maybe in your current organization you are not going to get recognized because of that, but at least your experience, you will gain experience out of that. I would like to tell them, focus on what focus on what
Yeah.
you want to be, but go
Yes.
beyond your
Uh, Wonderful. I think,
That's a brilliant
excellent.
point.
yeah,
Yeah,
be
but
self
is
That's a
motivated.
brilliant point.
another leading question: why do professionals are paid for whatever they do? Correct. Why an individual go beyond his or her KRA or her job responsibility and do this? How do you make that discussion of with an individual get going? It's very difficult. Somebody comes back to say you are doing HR, go and do finance because you will learn. I might not take it due to my
No,
competency or
uh, uh, here I have one point. It's not that HR can do finance job. It's not possible. But in
Mhm.
HR, HR is not means HR is a vast task. You would be agreeing with me. Initially, people used to think that HR is only about recruiting people, giving salaries, managing just managing leaves and attendance, and it's just only that. But now, means during the past few years, HR has undergone a huge transformation. Right, HR's role has undergone a huge transformation, and in the next few years also, we will be undergoing a huge means a lot more transformation. So the thing is that now HR's role has gone beyond recruitment. Yes, recruitment is the primary task, talent acquisition is the primary task, but opposed that, in talent management and talent, apart from talent management and talent development, there are other tasks like organizational designing, organizational development, and other things. So it's not that entire gamut of HR activities is given to only one person. So if one person is into one domain, means into one profile, he or she can take the responsibility, at least once in a week, to there will it will be a learning experience to go,
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah,
Not boxing oneself to a job description, going
yeah,
beyond
yeah,
it and experimenting on different roles.
yes,
Probably, I
yeah,
think what I take from you is it also helps you to realize that what else you can do apart from your job description, isn't it? I mean, I may be wrong, but I'm just asking that if I
yeah,
try to do
yeah,
something outside of my job description, I might realize some hidden potential, some hidden
right,
talent that I have, which I myself did not know, and that could be my next step forward in making a career choice. It's not necessary that we
right,
need to have only vertical growth,
absolutely.
and not boxing yourself in your job description. I think that's another big takeaway. So in the last 43 minutes, Bhaswati, I think you've given us a lot of pearls of wisdom in your own
I'm
way.
humbled, ma'am.
Don't make me feel like Amitabh Bachchan.
You are.
whole point is to whole point is to let the world know that there are more people, and HR is not dying, and there are lots of people who have great ideas, and we bring them back, we bring them out here into the front. That's the whole idea, that's the whole concept. So as we move on and as we wind up, and before I hand over to Ashish for those final comments, can I ask you simple 2 or 3 bullet points advice for the next generation student community, and then 3 bullet points on advice for the previous generation for me. So can you give bullet point advice for us?
Ma'am, next generation student community, as I have told, uh, come out of your comfort zone first thing. Come
Hmm.
without means being in your comfort zone, you can never really excel. The thing next is that, as I said, that go out of your KPI and perform, take initiatives. Otherwise, you will be stuck in the
Absolutely.
all along in the same
Yeah.
role.
Yeah.
There will be no
Yes.
no
Yes.
upgradation. And next thing is that constant periodical upskilling and reskilling is always necessary. If it is happening within the organization, is it is excellent. If it is not happening, then go for certifications which are relevant.
Invest, not spend.
Yes, invest, not spend.
Very well said. Very well said. Very well said. Absolutely. Yeah. So. I think for the next generation, you're actually telling them to, to look at themselves, come out of their comfort zone,
Yes,
experiment on things differently, but with a focus. Not
with focus.
experiment on anything and everything, but with a focus. In
Yes,
a way,
absolutely.
fix your goal somewhere, like we do in a GPS, and find out what are the ways to get there. So go into those terrains which have been not visited by you, which are those difficult terrains, but fix a goal and work towards it. Brilliant, brilliant piece of advice for the next generation. Now, what's your advice for me?
Ma'am, I'm too means.
I
uh,
believe in reverse mentoring. There could always be some advice for me. So today the stage is
Bhaswati,
sorry.
yours.
Bhaswati is not using the word young. Bhaswati is not using the word old. She is perfect. What word did she use? So,
I'm not young, Ashish. For the seniors, only thing I can say
Hmm.
is like
Hmm.
it's not for all, but some seniors,
Hmm.
like
हम समझ
please
जाएंगे
try
आप
to.
बोलिए you tell we will we will get it. We know who has to absorb what. Yes.
Please try to understand people in your team. Please try to understand people, give them the needed space so that they can perform and know their strengths as well as their weaknesses, how far they can
Hmm.
perform, and where they will get stuck. Once they are given
Hmm.
the space, they will automatically understand, and
Hmm.
they themselves will come to you when they'll get stuck.
Ah, actually, that's a point. And you're actually constantly reiterating on the empathy aspect, Bhashwati, and I think that's a big takeaway for us, especially seniors, when we are noticing that generation gap. I think we are building or we are increasing the gap by saying that there is a generation gap. So if I take a learning from you, it's about putting myself in their shoes and telling myself that there is no generation gap. Okay, it's just the way I think and the way that person thinks. There's nothing like a
Yeah.
generation gap, but I just put myself in that person's shoes and try to understand what is it that he or she wants and where is it that he or she is coming from. Brilliant. Anything else for me as a takeaway?
Ma'am, I have to learn a lot from you.
Well, that's where this journey will continue. But yeah, but once again, so let's wrap up here, and then I'll hand it over to Ashish. But what actually happened in the last 45 minutes for our viewers is that uh, there are some beautiful insights from Bhashwati's life story, and every one of us has a story. It's just that we don't recognize it, we don't acknowledge it, and we think it's not a great story to share. But the point Ashish and I and Sampark is trying to make here is that let's learn from everyone's stories, and we have thought leadership that's coming. So HR thought leadership is here to stay. It's not going to die. It's only for the world to recognize people and give them that hand holding and that opportunity, and which is what we're all trying to do. So today, at the end of this first episode, we are presenting to the HR fraternity, Bhaswati Roy Chowdhury, and she's here with her thoughts. She's willing to develop herself as a and groom herself as a strong, robust thought leader, and that's our gift to back to the HR fraternity. Over to you, Ashish, for your closing comments.
thank you so much, Harini and Bhaswati. Before so if I have to describe as an audience, for Harini, for you, the quote which I came across to is keep your face towards always towards the sunshine and shadows will fall behind you. This is not easy. It specifically takes a lot of courage and to come forward and give that space to the coming generation. This is not easy. I
Thank
encourage
you
all
so
the
much.
audience to go back, and this session might not be the perfect in terms of English language, in terms of articulation, in terms of the choice of words, in terms of the concept. But as Harini mentioned, and I would like to reach out to the all audience, don't be judgmental, be inspirational. Somebody is coming, we all are learning, we all are learning. We are not, you know, excellent orators who are there on this platform and take you for a ride which will be never heard of. Somebody, all of us are coming forward for a little contribution, and I would request all the audience to not to be judgmental. And you will not find in this making a different series a perfect session, but this session is from the heart. For Bhaswati, while I have known you for quite some time, and with this session, what I could understand you more and I could describe you in a quote is the goal is not to be better than others, but to yourself. And the lovely part which I realized from you, and this is my takeaway, that you are not competing, you are relaxed, you are composed, you know what is to be there, and you are trying to be better self, and that is most important. And so I believe
Absolutely.
this is as my takeaway in the session, that tomorrow when I go back, I should not start, my biggest competitor is me. Bashwati, I'm confident personally that you would be the next generation. And honestly, with this session, I never felt I am hearing Bashwati for the first time and she is nervous. I am hearing a session where any other HR renowned leader would have come and told the same thing and wooed us with their thoughts. So I did not feel the difference, and I think that is the most important aspect of this session, that nobody felt anything difference. If nobody felt anything difference, you come into the same stage with others, where everybody gets their piece of share of limelight. It's up to you how you take it and craft yourself going this forward. But after this session, a lot of people will look up to you for advice in careers and your guidance to grow, because they have found a new thought leader in you. Your comments, Bhashwati, and we will close this session. I thank all the viewers. Deep thank you to Harini for coming and generating this concept and taking this session forward. And Bhashwati, to you for taking this challenge, and in terms of initiative, it's not easy to come forward and accept. Over to you, Bhashwati, for your last closing comments.
My sincere gratitude to Ashish and Harini ma'am for giving me this platform. I don't know whether I could do justice to the program, but I have tried. Whatever came from my heart, I have told. Uh, Next, I'm trying to do better, and as Ashish told, I'm trying to be a better human being first, and then a better professional.
Excellent.
Wonderful. Thank you so
Wonderful.
much.
Our small endeavors for all of us and a small contribution to the fraternity. I thank all the viewers who have taken time out in this fag end of the day to come and join. We will share this session to everybody across, and many more young generation leaders which we go back and identify. For me, Harini, and many of us as HR professionals, there will be a learning session. Thank you, Bhashwati. Thank you, Harini, for your precious time and taking this,
Thank you.
session. Let us take
Thank
this
you,
forward.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
That was mine.
Goodbye.
Thank you so much. Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Good
Thank you,
night.
sir.
Good night.